All right, so one of the most controversial people in hip hop and in the media and online, especially Clubhouse, is Wack 100. Somebody who we know manages Game and Ray J and Blueface, but more importantly, behind the scenes does a lot of deals. One of them, of which is introduced me to Kanye, who came and did an interview in my studio here at Hollywood Unlocked Studios on the first day. Damage and Blue, you guys know Wack. No matter what is happening, somehow Wack finds himself in the middle of it. Well, today I interviewed him and his wife for the first time together. And it's pretty interesting seeing a relationship that's been together for so long. They've had, two kids together that are grown. One's on their way out the house, and both have been able to do business together. And, she's been with him through all of it. So when you think about Wack 100, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Honestly, and I asked Damage about this earlier, can we hire Wack as a special street correspondent? Because I feel like he always knows. Reporting live. What did you say? Reporting live from the streets. It's a Wack 100. Like, I really feel he might have missed his calling. He is the Nancy Drew of hip hop. I feel like he knows all the answers, and so I'm very curious to see what he has to say at this time.
One thing about Wack, I think he gets a bad rep because he says a lot of just crazy that I probably wouldn't say online. But his business sense, this dude is really smart. This dude is very smart business-wise. And even just talking to him and passing backstage and music videos, I have learned things that I could add to my LLC or my business. This dude knows how to really get money. And I feel like sometimes people from the outside looking in don't understand why people are in this game. And all they see is the rhetoric and the talk and the headlines. I'm like, no, this guy actually does something. He actually runs businesses. He actually runs record labels. He's actually somebody's manager that makes a lot of money. So when I think about Wack, I think about so many different things, but I definitely think about business-minded, business mogul.
Yeah, and maybe some people may or may not know if you haven't been following my movement. Wack is somebody that I built a really solid relationship with. I mean, we sometimes get into the weeds of stories that we write because we piss a lot of people off, and Wack is somebody I'll lean on to get perspective. And recently, he also connected me to Top Dog over at TDE about the controversy involving one of their rappers, a male rapper who was found to give oral copulation to another man on video. We didn't report about it on Hollywood a lot because it was such a sensitive thing. We don't believe in outing people, but it was out there, and it was Wack who put me on the phone with Top Dog over at TDE. We got into that as well. So I find it interesting that a lot of people have these perceptions of Wack, and I wanted to sit down with him and just have a conversation about him, his relationship, his children, the businesses, and what was exactly on those tapes that Ray J gave to Kanye, who Kanye gave to Kim, even though she said there was none on there, allegedly. And this is what he had to say. Take a look.
All right, so this is the first time we had a couple, Wack 100 and Kimberly Jones. I know both of you. It's kind of weird talking to like an interviewer because we talk like family, and typically is when we're drunk or when I'm drunk. Yeah, I'm mostly drunk.
It's been other times when you weren't drunk.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Last
time we seen him, he was drunk.
No, look, I was riding over here and I was thinking, okay, Bonnie and Clyde. But when I think about Bonnie and Clyde, when it comes to y'all, I don't know who would be the driver and who would be the shooter because she's just as gangster as you, although she, you don't appear that way on the outside.
She's a thug.
I'm not a thug.
I'm the voice of reason.
That is not true. I think you are. You mean in the relationship?
Yeah, definitely.
What? Jason.
Oh, man, yeah.
How could you say that?
Yeah,
No,
what up for the fellas?
I think both of you are voices of reasons in different ways. You know what's crazy? I feel like you're one of the most controversial people, which I don't understand because when you know him personally, it's almost like we know it's real, but I feel like you be with people mentally because you're already in their heads when they see you and you know it. So like, why do you think there's this perception that you're this villain that everybody loves to hate?
I don't know. I don't know why they call me the villain. No, for real, because I've helped a whole lot of situations. There's not one person that can say, I was robbed by Wack 100. It's a lot of people that say Wack 100 went and got my stuff back after I was robbed. Nobody can say I extorted them, I put them in bad deals. You've never heard that.
Right.
But they just make me the villain.
But I think it's quick, like for people to try to on your name and just create things, but then like the credit that for the things you do, you don't get. Like Kanye West was the first interview we had in the space. You made that happen. The first day we moved in, we didn't know how we were even gonna get people up here. And we were sitting in the kitchen and I was saying to the team, I was like, yo, how are we gonna get people up here? And then you called and you were like, yo, is the studio ready? I'm like, yeah, it's ready right now. And his fool said, let me put you on the phone with somebody who needs it. And it was Kanye. And I just thought, like, there were a couple things that went through my head. One, we don't do that enough for each other. Like, I feel like black people, we tend to hold who we know and what we got close to the chest because we don't want to see nobody else win. And then the second thing, we want to politic the play. We don't want to just put it together. And you did that. And we was at dinner that night, and everything has happened since then.
You know, this situation was you guys' introduction, and you're right. I'm a strong believer in having a strong team, and the change is only strong as the weakest link. You know what I mean? So I don't need to be in the middle of you guys. For what? You're my brother, right? So it's not politicking a business deal. This is help strengthening your business. So, you know, in this world, right, you got to have somebody you can trust. You know, this blogger world, this world of information, you got to have somebody you can trust. You the guy I trust, period.
So when you at the house and you see all this stuff going on, because you're in it, like you in it. When I think about you guys, I think about my cousin Roy, who on his wedding night, like his wife Sharice, she was ride or die. They got shot together at the wedding. Like they got shot by a shotgun at the wedding. Like somebody shot them. This guy named Alabama. I don't know if he's still alive, but what up, Alabama? And I'm I ain't in the streets, so if I just snitched, I'm sorry, Alabama. You know, good luck. But when you see everything going down, how do you manage like the duality of the person you know and you're married to and have kids with, and then like the street public personality?
I think when everything is going on and those issues are arising, I think I'm the calmest one to calm him down. Because you have a bunch of people and all these dudes and everybody, not saying names, but everybody wants to jump in and all that. And I'm like, that's not how you calm him down. It's not how you stop. And if you're not calm, you can't think. So in the middle of whatever storm he has going on, like if I'm panicking, then how am I going to know which way to go? How am I going to know not to go into, you know, any kind of, if it's a fight going on, why would I run into that? Like if I'm panicking, like, so it's just, I guess we have the same personality in a way when it comes to certain things. So I know how to think in certain situations.
When you talk.
Right?
Well, you know, that comes from years of being around me and knowing how to read me. She knows pretty much when it's like, okay, I can convince him to let this go, versus it's about to happen. She knows the hand signals, she knows the head nods, she knows
body language.
People start moving around, like
everything.
She knows who's with me that they don't know. She just knows. So, and she knows to start making her way either to the car or you know what to do. You know what I mean? End of the day, but I try to avoid. It's like, bro, it's like in this day and age, it's tricky because the ones that really don't want it, they try to start it with you to get some clout, hope a camera's around. I really think some people wouldn't mind getting their butts kicked, getting their ass whooped.
Yeah, their social media numbers will go up.
Straight up.
Yeah. Like the guy, what was the guy's name?
The dude.
You know what I'm talking about?
The brother.
Yeah.
I told I said, bro, he don't want to fight. He want to get dude to fight. And he's going
wait,
straight to social
for the
media.
people that are watching this, let's bring it. So we had Danny Lay's brother here, Brandon Bills, on the show. We were doing it on, you know, people called me out for being shady. I really wasn't trying to be shady. I was shocked at what he said. He said that if he ran into DaBaby in person, it was on site. And he said Wack 100 could catch the fade. I ain't gonna lie, Brandon. I called Wack right after that interview. Because I just was surprised.
I didn't know he said that.
He said, and Wack 100 could catch the fade.
But what is you? Why you?
Because you had sounded off on it or said something?
He had something. He did something. And he was like, next time DaBaby comes to LA, we're gonna run the fade. And I said, well, DaBaby in LA every day, long as I'm here. We can deal with that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right? You know, that's nephew. You know, that's nephew. You know, that's my little partner.
The street
I think
has it changed?
Dude's like a rapper or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was nobody even knew she had a brother. Nobody knew nothing about who he was or nothing. So now people know who he is. I guarantee you he's released some new music.
So I ran into DaBaby. I ain't gonna say I ran up on him, but I said, I know Wack told you to call me. And he did say you had reached out to him when he was in the middle of that crisis with the LGBT community.
Oh, you talked to him?
I did. I talked to him. Yeah. And we had a good conversation. He was basically saying, you know, he wants to change the narrative about what had went down, but he also wanted to let the dust settle a little bit. And I'm like, and I could tell he didn't really know who to trust and who to talk to. And I know he did say that you told him to talk to me. The one thing that I find interesting is you have a good relationship with the LGBT community. You always show me respect. You always tell people publicly our relationship.
Yeah, that's my home. I tell people that. That's my homeboy.
Yeah, and I know you have. I know Kurt, who does your hair, who used to work with you.
Kurt
is gay, and you. How did you develop an understanding of our community? Was it through Kurt and people around your wife, or was it just over time?
No, I knew you. I've been knowing you longer than Kurt. But Kurt, don't get me wrong. My wife first started getting her hair done. I'm like, I made a mental note. So I'm gonna see what's up. Mm-hmm. So we was out. I don't know. It was BET weekend. It was something. We was at what's the spot upstairs? Penthouse. So we in Penthouse. We parked. Came in. She said Kurt wants to come. So I don't really know Kurt like that, but she said Kurt's gay. I said, okay, cool.
I didn't tell you that.
Kurt comes out with us.
I didn't tell you that.
You didn't tell me?
No.
Well, maybe I met him, right?
You met him.
So, long story short, I had love for Kurt because Kurt keeps my wife fly. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was It Girl. That's his thing, right? It Girl, right? So
It Girl Studios.
So we go to the club and we're leaving. So they telling me I gotta walk through the back and go around to get to the car, the back parking lot. I said, nah, we going through the hallway when we came through. So I look, it's about 8 or 9 Samoans, right? I said, bro, I'm going that way one way or another. I looked to the side, I seen Kurt. I said, I'm about to see what Kurt about, right?
Now, Kurt's from the Bay.
Listen, look, I get off, I start the fight. We fight 9 Samoans in a small hallway. I look over there at Kurt fight like he in a penitentiary. Listen, he put his pants up, what's up, all that. So after we got out of there, the smoke cleared, I said, Kurt, you're my partner, man. You come around me anytime. So ever since then, we've been cool. Kurt real cool. Do you know Kurt?
No, I've known him before Hollywood Unlocked, before everything, yeah.
That's my partner, man. Kurt been to the crib. He always welcome his kids. It's like my little nieces and nephews, or that's family, you know what I mean? So that's my homeboy. Plus him and my wife got a great relationship, and he always treats her right with respect. So, Kurt with us more than a lot of people. You know what I mean?
But see, you remind me of my brothers in many ways, because I feel like when men are straight men and they're confident in who they are, they're not threatened by what other men are doing.
Nah, hell no.
And I found it, but in our community, like I'm going back to DaBaby, when he said those comments, like I knew that he was going to get attacked, of course, because the comments were charged and they were a lot. But I also knew there needed to be a bridge for understanding and conversation. Why do you think the hip hop community just doesn't get it? Like, we're not going nowhere, and there are certain things that are,
they don't want to accept the fact that the group of men that had the positioning before are turning into the minority. Mm-hmm. Straight up. Like, if you're not paying attention, see, it's a lot of little things going on that they don't see, right? That I see.
Like, explain.
They got new definitions. They don't call us heterosexual no more. We call like cis heads or something.
Cisgender men.
Cisgender, right?
Yeah.
So right now you gotta look at this word.
Yeah.
This is a tricky word.
Cis.
Yeah. They like everything you used to call us.
Because that's what we call our
to be disrespectful, right?
Yeah.
Used to call us this. Now we're gonna call you guys this, right? Mm-hmm. Gonna water it down a little bit, right? So now they're positioning these things. The next phase is we're going to teach the youth these things. They're going to force it, but not in the way my generation thinks. Mm-hmm. They know they can't get us to say it, so they're like, you know what? We'll just teach your kids, nieces and nephews, that this is what it is, and the older they get, how you think won't matter.
Or in your home, they'll start to make that the conversation that they want.
And that's just what it is. When you conducting business, in the music world, sports world, I don't care, banking world, you better look around, bro. The LGBTQ community is there in all circles. Mm. And it's just what it is. Now, me personally, I'm a judge an individual on how they treat me and their character with me. I'm not thinking about who's this guy date, what is he doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not thinking about that. My mind doesn't go there, right? I have a wife. I'm not tripping at. That's his personal business, right? And Kurt comes around us. Kurt brings his boyfriend.
Well, that's
You know
the
what
thing.
I'm saying? I'm not tripping.
But that's the thing that I
Yeah.
really respect about you too, because I said the same thing. Like when I built the relationship with Floyd or even Kanye, you know, I'm very clear. Like this is who I am. If you can accept it, cool. And I really like that you've been a bridge going back to DaBaby with wanting to connect him with somebody who at least give him a fair chance. Do you think the industry is becoming less interested in hearing a straight man's perspective or giving like the straight man redemption when they don't get it right?
They gonna crucify us every chance they get. You are a little different because your background and where you come from, right? Your brothers, you know what I mean? People like that, right? You like, I understand that side. So you kind of like,
I respect that side.
yeah, you kind of like that. When it comes to that community, you're the perfect bridge, right? Because for one, you're not no super flamboyant dude. You're not doing all that. You Jason Lee, and to fight. I know this, right? Like that's not. I tell people that. I'll be like, yo, look.
I got to lay off the reposado. We had so many problems in Miami. I said, I'm going to around and be locked up.
Yeah. So, but when it comes to being able to get on the phone and have a conversation, you understand. You understand that community, and because you are the way you are, it makes a guy like me take time to understand your community.
Because something else happened recently where the artist on TDE's label, Isaiah, got caught up in the scandal.
Isaiah, yeah.
Where a sex tape got out of him performing oral sex on somebody, and it was wild. And a lot of people, we didn't report out on Hollywood Unlocked because we don't do that, but you put me on the phone with Top Dog.
Yeah.
And I really liked the fact that, I like the fact that, I don't know if you acknowledge how big that was, that you put him on the phone with somebody that can help him go through it, but then to hear him want to continue to support his artist, I think it's just a shift in hip hop that I don't think the masses are seeing. So why do you think people are becoming more acceptable in the industry that are that deeply connected to the
Well,
streets?
you gotta understand, like guys like me and Top Dog, we've never been gay bashers, right? We just let people know, hey, we're not gay. So when I talked to Top Dog about it, maybe the day after it happened, he come to the studio, right? I'm looking at him, he looking at me, right? So I'm telling myself, you know, that's one of my big homies. There's very few people I call a mentor and a big homie. He's one of them, right? So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing. He doesn't say nothing. But then he knows me and I know him. So I'm like, Top, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good, right? So he tells me, he said, man, I said, you gonna make the adjustment? He's like, man, Wack, man, I'm here to support my artist. My artist signed to me. You know, he's still a man, he's still human, he's still got a family. You know what I mean? He's like, I've been doing all my research. It hasn't hurt him. His numbers is up 30, 40%. You know, I just got to talk to him and see what direction we going with this thing. It was all business. It wasn't no, oh man, I can't be. This dude from Watts.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Nickerson Gardens, one of the most notorious projects in Southern California. But his mentality was like, hey, look, I got to support that is my artist. I know this guy as a man, as a gentleman. So whatever he's doing, that's his personal business. Other than that, I'm here to support. So that when he texts me, right, we watch each other. You know what I mean? He's like, yo, man, I need to get me online with Jason Lee. Oh, no problem. Plug that up. You know what I mean? Like, great dude to talk to. He can give you direction. Because you see both sides of it. And then you're in this business. So you can even tap into that. So
You think he can survive it?
hell yeah, he can survive. Definitely. I think he should be heard now. He's already up on the Great Machine, TDE. I don't think it's gonna hurt him. It's more people that's gonna champion him when it comes to the consumer of the music, right? Than go against him.
So speaking of the machine, you were around during the Death Row era. You were close with Suge and all the biggest artists in hip hop at the time. It kind of rose from the concrete there. And I think one thing about death row that I remember was the sentiment that the only way you can get off, like you was going to live and die at death row. Now,
a lot of people did that.
but now you see Kendrick is leaving TDE. Like, how does that happen?
Top Dog runs his label like a family. So they'll still be a family. They'll still do business. Everybody that he signed to grow them. Mm-hmm. And part of them growing is them leaving the nest one day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? TDE gonna always be TDE no matter what else is talked about. But I think Kendrick's just ready to step out there and experience being his own boss. But I can guarantee you this, he got a great mentor. Mm-hmm. He'll be on the phone with Top. Mm-hmm. Top gonna pick the phone up, advise him, direct him, guide him. You know what I mean? And if need be, they'll definitely come back together if that's what needs to happen. But he doesn't run that intimidation type business over there. It's more of a family oriented thing. The security, you know, everybody's been there 10, 15 years or more. You know what I mean? They brothers, you know what I mean? So it's like, and he got a very mixed crowd. You got Crips, you got Bloods, as far as his artists. You've never heard
any. But you do too, though.
Yeah, you never heard any of his artists beefing or going through nothing crazy and not being supported.
So when you were married to him during the whole era of death row, did you ever just get afraid? Like, were you ever afraid during that time period? Because like when death row was on its rise, I mean, like, I don't even know how to explain that situation, that environment.
I wasn't afraid because you got to understand that I've been knowing him since we were 9 years old. And the phases of life that he went through, it was worse before death row. Like, the street stuff was worse than when that whole death row thing was going on. So it didn't scare me.
But you were like the muscle. You were. I mean, that's
you
what
I was one of the guys that I was close to him. I was in the car with him. He would talk to me.
They said you had one hand on the foot of Vanilla Ice when he was about to take flight.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Ice Baby.
But you know, it's funny now because I look up and I still talk to a lot of the people like Reggie Wright. You know, I see his son, you know, making this move and doing what he's doing. And it's kind of scary because he looked just like him, you know, it's just different, it's weird. But he's just a more subtle, you know, well-mannered guy. But I always think about the things he did so I know what not to do. And the things he did so I know what to do.
Business-wise?
Yeah, business-wise, because you know, it was pros and cons to everything he did and didn't do. So,
like, what are some examples? Because I did see the post you said the other day. You posted Game and you talked about how no matter what, like, you're gonna always be in his corner. And I feel like one thing that you've done, not just like, we'll get to Krishan and how you've been dealing with the Blueface stuff, but like, you've been like a father figure, a friend, the manager, the security, the homie, like, it's sort of like a full situation.
You know, I don't think about it or see it until somebody like you say it, because she'll tell you, I just do what I feel I'm supposed to do. Yeah, 1 minute you're right, I can be management and then label and then homie, then brother, then security. Then she didn't watch me deal with all kind of crazy watch. She didn't been in the middle of it. She had to come bail me out. I mean, crazy things, you know what I mean? So the stitches thing, you know, something told me to happen because she never stays at the room. I'm like,
were you there? You were there that night?
No,
I wasn't there. I was at the hotel.
I told her to stay at the hotel. She looked at me crazy, but she knows my little intuition works for me, you know. But they called her, and you know, we're a great team, even when I'm in jail. You know, she kind of knows he's gonna be working something in there. I had to pay the little guard to call her because we didn't know how to do bail in Florida. It made it work, but Suge did a lot of great things, but he made a lot of mistakes. You know what I mean? The best thing he did is turn 30 cents, meaning that it was a group of 3 people. They really got 30 cents per record sale. That cut that up to 30%. You know what I mean? He kicked those doors in, and there's certain things you can't take away from the man. I don't like a lot of things. I don't like his character when it comes to, he just can't be a real brother with you. No matter what, he's gonna find a way to water down what you're doing successful if you're doing it without him.
Why do you think the whole theory that he had Tupac killed still lives on?
I don't know who, I mean, listen, man. We from the streets. If something like that's happening, we don't put ourselves in the car unless it's coming from the back seat. You know what I mean? Suge 300 pounds, right? He not gonna put himself in the car. He could have put anybody in the car with him. He could have put guys in the cars that would have really did that. But that was his little brother. Not only that, that was his business. That was, you know what I mean? Like that was a blow.
That was a superstar to that.
Yeah, that was a blow. I mean, you know, people start, you know, these damn conspiracy theory people, they start talking. You know, some people tell you Tupac's still alive.
So Death Row. So I thought Ray J was running Death Row, but now they say Snoop running Death Row.
No.
What? I'm confused.
Well, it was at one time because we had the contracts to do the. Ray J was doing a Death Row movie. It's like 5 or 6 people that have had these rights to do the movie. Somebody else has them now. I don't really remember what it is. Snoop Dogg actually has brought the label Death Row. It's different. He brought the label.
So he owns it.
He owns Death Row. He owns Death Row and the catalog that's left of it. It's not the complete Death Row catalog of what it was as of maybe a year ago, but the part that he would want that's important to him, which is the Snoop Dogg masters, the Dog Pound masters, things like that, Snoop owns it. The label, the name Death Row, the company as a whole is his, which is a great accolade, I believe, for him. You know, Snoop Dogg came back to him. He started there, he left, he came back. Now he owns, and he owns his masters. So
It's big.
you
It's
know,
big for his story.
all he has to do now is break an artist. You know, my advice to Snoop is sign a bunch of these little dudes, but Bobby Smurda, he's not happy over there at Epic. You know, Sylvia Rome and Snoop, I'm pretty sure have a great relationship. I think you should go have a conversation with Sylvia. You know, work that out and bring Bobby Smurda to Death Row. I think that's enough shock value. I think that's what my move would be if I was him.
So when you look at the image of Death Row, do you think it needs to change? Do you think it could be rebirth, reborn? Do you think because I kind of when you think of Death Row, you think of all the Suge was doing back in the '90s. I mean, it was wild.
Listen, Snoop was in the middle of a lot of it, bought murder cases, so on and so forth. But you understand, we talking about the Snoop Dogg that's been on Martha Stewart. We talking about the Snoop Dogg that held the #1 spot on the gospel charts for 16 weeks.
Yeah.
We talking about Snoop Dogg, not the rapper, but the icon.
Yeah.
He's the most noticeable rapper in the world, right?
Just performed at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I think, you know, by him being the face of Death Row, because he was never the face of Death Row. He was one of the many faces of Death Row. Suge was ultimately the face. By him now being the face of Death Row, I think the image has already changed.
So speaking of Clubhouse, I'm about to go to Clubhouse because he's active on Clubhouse. I feel at this point you should own Clubhouse. There ain't nobody else on Clubhouse whose rooms are popping more than you, except for somebody whose name we're not going to mention because they want their name. They're waiting for me to say their name. I'm not. Do you ever tell him just get the hell off Clubhouse? Because every time he's on Clubhouse, my writers put it in the group chat. Wack 100 said this. Wack 100 did this. Wack 100 did this. I'm like, damn. Do you ever get tired of his Clubhouse?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you argue with him over his social media? Because I feel like you always, we're going to get into, you just posted somebody, I think you said had AIDS or HIV or something, or died. Somebody died. Oh, you said recently somebody caught it or died or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like somebody had said something. And I'm a guy that I give people chances now. So, you know, I just kind of reminded a certain individual on who he was and things that went on in his life and kind of let him know if you use the word utter, my name one more time, then I'm going to go ahead on and just, you know, we're going to talk about it.
And he didn't say your name anymore?
No.
You know,
he was like 58 years old playing with me. Like, I think the old dudes is like, okay, we say something about Wack 100, we're going to be in the lane. I think this was going on. There's been a fluctuation of old gang members coming on here with what they think is real.
On social media?
Oh yeah, especially Clubhouse. They got like rooms of what they think is real. So because I'm the total opposite of what they think is real, right? They hold these keeping it real from the street. So, you know, I've just kind of changed the narrative. You know, they call themselves the real ass. You know, I kind of like, I call myself the bitch. I'm the bitch ass. I represent the BANs.
Yeah, I woke up this morning, I was a bitch ass too. But you know, it's one of those things where like I'm starting to realize like social media is just it's full of people who are unhappy with their lives.
I was gonna say, why do you guys care? Like I ask him all the time, like, why do you care? Because it's obvious that like anybody, like he will go hard on somebody, like a real response, right? He'll go back and forth with them. But it's like these people don't even know you. They don't know you. They're looking for attention, and you take it serious. Like you go back and forth with them.
Well, I care about disrupting their mental. I have a job to do. I have to confuse these people. I have to take over their minds.
And it's also, I mean, now with the 100 show, that it's content too. Like, let me just say, the reason I brought up the Ray J and Death Row thing is because everybody knows you manage him. You still manage Ray J, and we've seen the evolution of Ray J. And I think like Ray J back in like the '90s or even early 2000s, who was always caught up in early on as Brandy's brother, has clearly now kind of eclipsed her on the business side. He has success in technology and stuff like that. Cleaned up his image for the most part, although I know him and Princess are going through a lot on Love and Hip Hop. I can't wait to watch that. But ultimately, like, when I interviewed Ye, I didn't know he was going to throw out the thing about the tapes. And I have to tell you, Kris Jenner and I were friendly since 2010, and I definitely know she doesn't like me now as a result of me finding out about the tapes.
Well, he didn't lie. Like, he really... He got the computer.
But let me set it up. So you were under attack on social media when you mentioned a reference to second tape, and then the Kardashian lawyers came out and said you were lying and it was cap. And then, like the gangsters, the RANs, you said, do you want to call cap? Because we can play if you want. Now I'll say privately, you and I had a conversation, and I saw some stuff that they don't want to get out. And then they found out that I knew about it because I called one media person and said, I got some information that I'm thinking of breaking, because I was going to put it out. And because I didn't like the way that you were being labeled a liar. Yeah. Because that's one thing I'll say I know you not to do. Yeah. And then, of course, I'm into breaking shit. So I'm like, hey, let's break it. And then Kris found out and called, and she was, Lino was,
she called, what did she call?
She was a little threatening, not threatening in a mean way. She'll threaten you in a way where like you hear her voice, you know she's not happy, then the attorneys and all that. But she threatened with the attorneys, and then, you know, we had some heated words, and then kind of just died down. And then during the interview, Ye mentioned that you taking the, you know, you and Ray J bringing him the tapes, and him delivering the tapes on the laptop, and Kim crying. And then two things happened. The Kardashian media machine went out basically saying there were no sex tapes, that was all. And then people didn't give Ray J his credit for doing a good deed. Why do you think all that happened?
Well, it was like a double gesture thing for me. Because this is the first time Ray J and Kanye is. So, you know, I know what's on the laptop, right? I don't need to be the one delivering that. Let's put a closure to that. Ray J, you deliver that. Kanye's a gentleman, he's not tripping. You know, he's very serious and straightforward. And Ye went and delivered it to her. And I told Ray, I said, you know, when he takes that to them, once they get it, they're gonna feel like, well, they don't have it anymore, so we're gonna say it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. They probably was gauging my relationship with Kanye. Like, no way he's gonna turn it over and have a copy, which they're right, because that wasn't what that was about. It was never about that. Once he married and had children, and it was never about getting any money for it or doing something over here and over here and over here and over there. It was never about that, right? But I know where his heart is at. You know what I mean? His heart was trying to show her, look, I'm for you. Let's put closure to this. The mother's gonna be the mother. You know what I'm saying?
She cold.
Yeah, you know, Illuminati mad. You know what I mean? You know, she gonna be the mother, but she's doing what the mother's supposed to do, because in her world, she's not adjusting because everything and everybody is temporary. Yeah, you're in my daughter's life, but you're temporary. You're not gonna be here long for whatever reason. Not that she's trying to mess it up, but she's gonna always take.
She said to me, "I'm gonna do whatever it takes to protect my family." That's what she said on the phone.
There it goes.
Yeah.
and who can fault her for that? Because I'm definitely gonna do what it takes to protect my family, whatever it takes.
Wait, I want to go back to Clubhouse really quick. So Super Bowl happens here in LA. LA is on fire. Everybody's excited. Super Bowl performance was amazing. Game was not there. A lot of people felt he should have been there. You felt he should have been there.
Definitely.
And Game felt he should have been there.
He never said nothing about it. He just
But
had
it's
a-
LA.
Yeah, I mean, he never said nothing about it. Like, he never mentioned anything about it.
But you lit the internet up with they manipulated your audio, which was crazy.
Crazy.
And in the room, when they asked you about it, you said something about, people thought Jay-Z blocked it. Do you think Jay-Z blocked it, or do you think it was, because Jay-Z's over the entertainment. So what do you think?
Well, they was trying to put it on Dre. And I was like, well, it's not Dre's call. Jay-Z's over that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I was like, you know, it been 18 albums ago, but Game had a few things to say way back then.
That's where he said, he told Jay-Z to suck his 18
I
albums.
mean, we talking early 2000s or something, right? So I'm like, maybe that was it. So maybe he didn't forget. But I don't think it was Dre. Now, Dre probably could have influenced, right? But what I got from Game, because he had a great Super Bowl party over there in Encino, it was weird because I'm thinking I'm hanging out with the fellas. I look up and my daughter pops up.
Oh no, we got the invite. You know, Game's invites to his parties are legendary.
Yeah, it's crazy. Then my son pops up. I'm like, everybody's here, right? But Game was enjoying the halftime show. You know, when you think somebody's pissed off, you're like over in the corner drinking it. Mm-hmm. He was in front of the screen enjoying the halftime show, so I didn't think his spirits were broken by it, but should he have been there? We're in LA, of course.
But when they tweaked the audio and it went viral, and I know, like, you know, they cleared it up later and fixed it or whatever, what did you think about that experience? Because
no, that let me know they savages out here. Mm-hmm. They're looking for something. And if they can't find it, they'll create it. And they still put the false narrative out there. Mm-hmm. And there's still people to this day that thinks that's what he said. Mm-hmm. They didn't put as much effort into cleaning it up as they did putting it out there.
Well, there's no clicks in the cleanup.
It is what it is, but.
What do you think about the press making Eminem a hero for kneeling when Colin Kaepernick is still unemployed for kneeling?
Yeah. I never thought about it that way. I looked at it as if him was giving a gesture of respect because they told him not to kneel. Mm-hmm. Jay-Z just put out something where they was told him they didn't want Snoop in gang attire, they didn't want him kneeling, and Jay-Z pretty much told him, look, do what you gonna do, right? So I looked at it as a gesture of respect. You know, M is white, but shit, he been amongst our urban culture forever. But you're right, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Man lost his job for kneeling.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's also crazy that Jay-Z got killed by the culture for doing the deal with the NFL. And there was a lot of conversation about that, but people aren't talking about how he stood behind their artistic expression to do their thing.
Well, see, I seen what Jay-Z was doing. He like, if I don't take the position, who will? At least I can try to make this thing better, have some type of influence on what's going on. So I got everybody like, oh, screw them, stay away from them. Them people were still watching football games. Mm-hmm. You watching the game, you wearing the jerseys, you're still supporting them. So I understood Jay-Z's move.
So Blueface, he got the show with the girls on OnlyFans. He got the girl that you kicked out the house pregnant, allegedly, and he and his friends had the run-in with the nightclub guy. What is he doing? Is he focused on music? Is he just enjoying being rich, young?
Well, he's turned in. Look, Amongst all that, he's turned in 2 albums. He has a collab album with DDG. He has his own album. Shooting this video sometime this week, him and G Herbo. But he definitely lives I don't know, you call it wild, I don't know if you call it reckless, I don't know what you call it, but he lives a Blueface life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But does he listen to mentoring though? Because I mean, you did all that to take Christian, or however you say her name, out of the house, literally physically went there in the middle of the police to help him by getting her out, and then she turns around and she's pregnant, allegedly. She said that.
I didn't hear about the pregnant thing.
Didn't she say that?
She just said that?
Yeah, she said that on social media that she was pregnant.
Like recently?
Well, that was before she went to jail.
It was before she went to jail.
See, that's what I'm saying.
She got a lot going on.
She be capping too. Now, I don't know if she is or she isn't, but I don't know how long, how far along she should be by now, but we should really pay attention to kind of keep note, see if we see a baby bump or something going on, because she'll say anything with some attention.
But as successful as you are, I mean, you guys have a happy marriage, your daughter's on her way at the house, your son is successful. Like, don't you get to a point where you like, I've already done this, did the Ray J era, like I've been through it all, like, do you ever get tired of?
I knew the job was dangerous before I took it. The thing about them is that they're wild, but they're not as sophisticated as the Ray J's. Because you got to remember, Ray J had already been in the industry since he'd been a kid. So Ray J know how to disappear, do little crazy things. But Blueface, you know, a lot of this stuff is still new to him. And he's a real smart young man. Sometimes he just makes wild decisions. You know what I mean? And the majority of the time, they're personal decisions. There's not too much I can say when it comes to what he's supposed to do as an artist. He don't miss no shows. He plays with the plane.
Yeah, he runs late all the time. But again, he's young, and like what any young man would be doing if he wasn't in the public eye, he's doing the same thing. And so because he's in the public eye, he gets, you know, a different set of rules applied to him because of, and I'm not saying I agree with the stuff that he does, but I'm just saying because he's young now. There's a lot of young men out here doing.
He's getting it. He's taking a few bumps and bruises, but he's figuring it out. He's getting it. He likes to hear me after it happens, and then he says, "Oh, okay, now I see." Right? And I think part of the problem is me because, like she says, no matter what, I'm gonna fix it.
I told Wack I want to come on the 100 podcast because I know, like, when you were putting it together, what was your thought on what you were building and how you wanted the public to receive it?
No, well, really, that's really for the underground artists, the artists that can't get a look, can't get to the no jumpers. You know what I mean? You know, they don't have a big enough buzz yet. And, you know, I kind of put it together because the Clubhouse gave me my little, they're there. It's like I got thousands and thousands of people there that trying to do something, but they can't get in the door. So it was my way of letting them in the door. I just had a Crip Blood in the Paru contest. 10 Crips, 10 Bloods, 10 Paru submit music.
On Clubhouse?
Yeah, played the music, had the judges. They chose the 1 Blood, 1 Crip, 1 Paru. The guy from Philly, Jersey from Patterson. He flew out. Then we had a guy from a Crip from Long Beach, from Snoop's neighborhood, and Paru from Carson come out. They didn't know. They all met at the studio. They had all them, had their little teams and crews with them. Sat them down, got to know him. The brother from Patterson had his brother with him, which was kind of, you know, his brother's blind. So I'm like, "It's your brother?" Like, "Yeah, you can't see. Wherever I go, he goes." So I allowed him to come in there with us. Cause that's a moment.
Yeah.
But they all told their stories, and they seemed to realize they all had the same story. Different section.
So I took your advice. I did reach out to 6ix9ine about doing an interview. So we are going to do it. you know, I don't know where that's gonna go because
Did he say he's gonna do
he
it?
said he's gonna do it.
If he told you he's gonna do it, you my brother,
Yeah.
that's my client, then he gonna do
He
it.
said he's gonna do it. I mean, one thing about him, I'll say,
Be ready.
oh, I'm ready for him.
No, listen, Kim, tell him. He's an intelligent dude.
I was about to say he's smart, he's brilliant in marketing, he's one of the most hated, but he's also one of the most successful, which is a very interesting thing. You know what I mean? Like, I understand every side of it, but he gets it. You know, he gets it. He's been very quiet though for a while.
Definitely.
Is it because he's creating?
That's because he has a new business partner.
Okay.
He's channeling that into creating. He's a different artist, different type of music.
So when he becomes your client, does he get the protection that comes with?
6ix9ine is a guy that you're not gonna lock down. I don't really think you can manage him. You got to do business with him, which would turn into a form of managing him. But you know, if he's with me, you can't just come do something to him. Mm-hmm. Not with me. But you know, day to day, I try to call him in the morning, midday, call him at night, and he does crazy things. Call him. Hey, where you at? What did you tell me?
Bahamas.
I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. What the hell? Nah, Wack is cool. FaceTime. It's still dudes with him.
Does he think he's out? Does he think all that went away? Or, I mean,
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares. Like when I tell you, dude, that's why when they come at me, I'm like, yo, bro, listen, man. Dude be in New York all the time. Stop front. Like, it's no way y'all. He went to a club like a couple months ago. You know, I'm going to club where? You know me, I'm like, yo, bro, what you doing? We got business. You tripping.
okay.
But you know what? I think he might get the first crossover, mature 6ix9ine interview. 'Cause he's definitely different.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So what's next for both of you?
I did a licensing deal with Nick, and that's my brother. He always looks out for me, so I did a licensing deal to use the name Incredible Diapers, Incredible for the diaper company. We just kind of like, we freestyled putting this diaper thing together, like literally freestyled it. The way she did all the designs and the print that's on the diaper and stuff like that. We literally pulled a Frank Lucas, bro. We like with the China found us, you know, somebody that can speak for us. Jumped in a little pickup, went straight to the warehouse.
In China?
In China. Long story short, we went through the process. I remember our first diaper. Well, we found, I was at some cheer thing, and it was some ladies talking about a sanitary pad called Cherish. I came home, asked her about it. She didn't know nothing about it. She got to order on the internet. Long story short, I seen it was manufactured in Mexico. People in Mexico said, yeah, I told her I want to put it in a diaper, but because I was having a diaper manufactured in China, they said it's a company in Japan that had something that had like 7 times the absorbent. We get to Japan, get a spool of it sent to China. We take our trip to China, tell them we want that material in the diaper. How you want the diaper? We don't know, just put the diaper together. Right? I don't know nothing about the diaper business, right? Diaper, send it to BB Labs, and they thought it was kind of crazy.
They do testing. BB Labs does testing.
Testing, but like, I need it tested against every other diaper. They're like, you know how much money it's gonna cost you? Don't matter. Test against every other diaper. Came back, diaper failed horribly. Everything but the absorbent. And guess what came along with that?
What?
All the paperwork on what's better than my diaper that's on other diapers. Give it to her. She goes through, Nick picks it, contacts China. We want these tabs, this elastic. We took all the best parts off of every diaper and then assembled our diaper, sent it back with the absorbent. Boom. We had incredible.
Why did you guys choose diapers? Because everybody needs it. It's
always
never
gonna
gonna.
be need
Yeah.
for diapers.
Yeah.
But just to clarify on the failing part, it wasn't that it failed because it wasn't just passing because there was a problem. There was nothing comparable to it. So we had to establish that this is what this diaper is, and to make it a new brand and a new type of diaper that was better than the other diapers.
And my man Steve Marcano, he had a diaper company previously called My Little Star.
Yeah.
But he wasn't using it anymore. But he had like a lower grade diaper. We were in the Bronx or somewhere. We seen those kids running around. Kids running around. I'm like, yo, what's up with the diaper? They're like, it's a diaper
Shortage?
It's like called Fitties.
No,
it's just
like,
a diaper to catch the waves.
It's not a great brand.
But it's 20 of them for $5.
Yeah.
So this is why people have them, right? So I'm like, it'd be cool for these type of communities, the ghettos, to have a top diaper for the same cost. So part of us going to China was to cut the middleman out to get the diaper at low cost. And we cut the cost probably about 200% going direct, which puts us in position to be able to give to the people for a little bit of nothing. So we're gonna launch probably in the next 90 days.
All right, well, listen, I think we covered everything today. Cash and Kimberly Jones.
Yeah.